Hello and welcome to this BuyBotPro video. I hope you're doing well, and in today's session what I'm going to be doing is explaining how the confidence score and suggested purchase quantity works. By now I'm sure you are all familiar with what the confidence score does, what the suggested purchase quantity does, but how do they work and how do they produce the results that they produce? And obviously it's going to differ from listing to listing because every single listing, every single scenario is going to be different. So what makes up those scores? What makes up the suggestions that it gives to the purchase quantity, and how does it decide? So I'm going to basically go through what gets taken into account for both. So we're going to start with the confidence score, and I'm going to give you two different examples of both, right? So the confidence score is, as we know, what BuyBotPro tells us what it in terms of what it thinks about the listing. So to me it's saying that this is an average deal, giving me a confidence score of 38.49, and it's also telling me this deal is outside our chosen deal criteria. Now we can see more about the confidence score and some of the reasoning behind it and the things to consider before we go ahead with the listing by hovering over the confidence score. So regardless of whatever score we get, it's just the top three things to consider. So even if we got a good confidence score, say, and it says, the sale price, has been known to be unstable or something like that, it's not saying, yeah, this is a great deal, but don't go ahead with it, because it's just letting you know that, yes, this is a great deal, but just be wary of. And so maybe this will then affect the quantity that we purchase, maybe just to be safe, we buy a smaller amount this time and see how that goes, and then maybe next time we can build it up because maybe things have carried on really great with this particular listing. So in that case, then we can go for a big quantity next time. But all in all, it's the top three things to consider before we go ahead with this listing, just so that way we are aware. So it's telling me in this case there's an average ROI of 23%. The sale price is unstable, but the recent 30-day estimated sales have been awesome. So let's check this out in a bit more detail. So we can see that it had periods where it did quite well, but then recently it's dropped drastically in terms of the BSR, which would then also affect the rate of sales, the popularity of the item, and therefore the price. We can see that there's been quite a bit of fluctuation on this listing, quite a bit of change there. And in terms of consistency, let's take a look. Yeah, we can see that the average prices have changed quite a bit. And in terms of the recent 30-day sales, well, we can see there's this period here where it just dropped off for, it looks like it was from around then, so 15th, 16th through to about the 27th, but it has now started to pick up in sort of like the last week or so, and prior to this period of not much, it did actually do very well. So this just backs up what was said here, and as we can see, the sale price has been unstable, so just be wary of that. But ultimately the confidence score is only 38.49%. So if we were to go ahead with this, there would be quite a bit of risk involved. However, if we were to make sales, considering the buy price, sell price, there is a decent profit on there. But of course, this doesn't meet exactly our criteria. So we can see there that it says it's outside our chosen deal criteria. What exactly does that mean? So the confidence score is determined by the entire analysis itself. So if the sales have been pretty much non-existent, it will let us know. If there's an eligibility factor whereby we're not gated for we're not ungated for this category, can't do it. If there's an IP issue, we definitely can't do it, and the confidence score will factor all of this in and tell us. Even if it meets all of our criteria, if there is an IP issue, it's going to tell us, nope, don't go ahead with it, IP issue, don't do it, because it doesn't want us to get suspended, it doesn't want us to get into trouble, it doesn't want us to be stuck with stock. So when it gives a bad confidence score, that's always for a good reason. It saves us from a bad buy, and so one of the other major things that affects it is this criteria right here. So we can set a minimum profit, ROI, and min-max BSR parameters. If you're wondering why you'd want to set a minimum BSR, then particularly if you're new to selling on Amazon, you might not want to compete with people that are in sort of like the top 1%, say, because you know that they're going to be the most competitive listings. So maybe you want to lower this. So maybe you want to lower this to, you know, maybe anything that's, you know, top 5% as opposed to top 1%. So anything from like 5%, you know, through to whatever your max is, that's an acceptable BSR parameter for the item. And yeah, obviously it doesn't meet our minimum ROI requirements for what we consider to be a good deal. So it's going to tell us that here. And of course we can adjust this as and when our criteria changes. We might have different criteria for different types of products. So we can tweak this as we go. And if we do change it, don't forget to click on Save and Sync. Now, the suggested purchase quantity, because it does not have a confidence score of 50% or over, it's not going to give us a suggestion, because again, there's a tremendous risk with going ahead with this product. But let's look at a product whereby we've got a good confidence score. It does meet our criteria. So it's given me a suggested purchase quantity of 5. So the suggested purchase quantity looks at basically the sales for the item. It also looks at 2 factors of our settings right here. So the stock capital and max buy count. So stock capital is our overall budget, how much do we have to spend, and we can actually set a limit. So let's say we wouldn't buy more than, say, I don't know, 10, 20, 50 in one go, then we can set that there. So that way there is the limit and it is applied. Ultimately, based on its assessment of this product, it makes a suggestion of 5, which is something that we can go ahead with. You know, we can use that, or we can use it as a starting point to figure out our own quantity. It's just really useful to know, because if you are ever stuck for, well, how many do I buy? This is going to tell us, and that's how it works. Both of these things, as it says there, it's artificial intelligence. They assess the entire analysis to produce these results for us. And obviously, if it's not got a good confidence score, it's not going to make a quantity suggestion, because there's no point in going ahead with that product. You know, even if, regardless of the score, it gives us the main 3 things to consider about this product, just so that way we are aware of it, we're not going in blind. And so that's really useful. And that's basically how it produces the scores and suggestions. So much is taken into account here. And as I say, it helps prevent us from making bad purchasing decisions. But it will also help us with actually being confident about our purchasing decisions. You know, having this back us up and tell us what it thinks is super useful, particularly if you're not quite sure, it's, you know, it's something relatively new to you. Do I go ahead with this? Don't get stuck. Let the confidence score and suggested purchase quantity help you out. But that's basically how they work. Hopefully you found this video enlightening. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you soon.